If this video has reached you today, it is not by coincidence, it carries a greater purpose. In the universe, nothing happens by accident. You are standing before this message because you are about to cross the threshold of victory, closer than you realize to manifesting your greatest dreams. But before every breakthrough, an unseen force appears, an invisible adversary that tries to hold back your progress. In today's video, I will reveal who this adversary truly is and the simple key you can use right now to unlock abundance and transform your life instantly. You might think you ended up here by chance, that you clicked on this video absent-mindedly, but nothing could be further from the truth. In Hermeticism, chance does not exist. Everything is the unfolding of a law, even what appears to be coincidence. The Kybalion teaches that what we call chance is merely the name given to laws not yet recognized. If this message has reached you, it means you are standing at a turning point in your life. Think of how many choices, how many clicks, how many paths could have led you elsewhere. Yet, for some reason, you were brought here, precisely to this moment. That is the first sign. When the universe wants you to awaken, it places clues along your path. Perhaps this video is just one of them, but it may be the most decisive. And why does this happen now? Because you are about to cross a threshold. Every seeker, before gaining access to something greater, must face an inner test. Not a trial of physical strength, but of consciousness. It is the silent battle between pressing forward or turning back. Have you noticed how, before great victories, opposing forces suddenly appear to block the way? A project that nearly collapses, a relationship that weighs you down, a fear that grows stronger. These are not accidents. They are manifestations of the same principle. Before triumph, the universe asks if we are truly ready to sustain it. This calling does not come only from the outside. It echoes in the mind and the heart. It is that voice that says, "You can do more," even when everything around you insists otherwise. But almost always, another voice follows, whispering, "What if it doesn't work?" It is within this conflict that initiation is born. Jung would call it a confrontation with the shadow, while Hermeticists would describe it as an encounter with the inner adversary. Two names for the same experience. The mind torn between staying in the known or daring to cross the portal into the unknown. And it is at this very moment that many retreat. But what if I told you that this discomfort, this fear, this doubt, are not signs of failure, but evidence that victory is near? The adversary only appears when something great is about to be born. What you feel right now may be nothing more than the shadow reminding you that you are already standing at the threshold of transformation. Every triumph is preceded by a battle. But the greatest of all is not fought against external enemies, it unfolds within, against the saboteurs of the mind. When we are on the verge of growth, it often feels as if our own thoughts turn against us, creating scenarios of fear and failure. Have you ever experienced being so close to achieving something and suddenly felt an overwhelming urge to give up? Perhaps a competitive exam you studied for over years, a business that seemed full of promise, or a relationship with all the signs of success. Then, out of nowhere, a sense of incapacity took hold. Hermeticism calls this vibrational resistance. Our subconscious, programmed by repetition, clings to the familiar rather than the unknown. Even when the familiar means pain or scarcity, it offers the illusion of safety. That is why, when success draws near, the subconscious stirs in agitation. It invents reasons to turn back. This isn't the right time. I'm not ready. It's too risky. But reflect for a moment. How many times have you abandoned something not because it was impossible, but because you believed that inner narrative? The battle was never in the outside world, it was inside you. And it is precisely at that moment that most people abandon the path, only inches from victory. Jung explained that the shadow strikes hardest when the ego is about to break through its own limits. It whispers, "Go back. It isn't safe here." Yet paradoxically, it is exactly at this threshold of discomfort that true freedom hides. The shadow protects the comfort zone, but at the same time guards the key to leaving it behind. Hermeticists knew this well. That is why they symbolized initiation as the crossing of portals guarded by monsters, demons, or sphinxes. These were never literal enemies but representations of the inner struggle. Only those who dared to pass discovered the hidden gold of the spirit. The question is, how many times have you stood before this portal and turned back? And how many more times will you retreat before realizing that victory belongs only to those who dare to walk through fear? In the Christian imagination, the adversary became known as the devil. The word comes from the Greek diabolos, meaning to divide or to separate. It is not necessarily a horned figure, but the experience of being torn between two paths. Carl Jung deepened this understanding by showing that each of us carries a shadow, aspects of ourselves that we repress or deny. When we are about to grow, it is the shadow that rises not to destroy us, but to demand integration. It is the part of us that can no longer be ignored. Hermeticism echoes this through the law of polarity. Everything has two poles, opposites that are in truth complementary. There is no light without shadow, no success without risk, no life without death. The mistake lies in trying to annihilate one pole and live only in the other. This denial produces what Jung called projection of the shadow, seeing in the outer world what we refuse to accept within ourselves. Think about it. How many times have you judged someone for qualities you secretly feared in yourself? How many times have you pointed out in others what you could not bear to confront in your own psyche? That is the shadow at work, and the more we deny it, the stronger it becomes. The devil, as a symbol, represents precisely this: the inner division that prevents us from becoming whole. As long as we are divided, we cannot move forward. Only when we accept that both light and shadow coexist within us do we unlock real power. Jung taught that individuation is the process of uniting the conscious and the unconscious, the light and the dark. It is the hero's journey of facing the monster, only to discover that the monster was part of oneself all along. This is the initiation every seeker must undergo. But what if the secret is not to defeat the shadow, but to harness it as fuel for growth? What if the devil is nothing more than the guardian of the portal to victory? The most common mistake is believing that the shadow must be destroyed. But what we attempt to destroy inevitably turns against us. What we deny controls us. What we accept transforms us. This is the essence of true mental alchemy. The Kybalion teaches that transmutation is not annihilation, but transformation from one state into another. Just as the alchemist does not obliterate lead but transmutes it into gold, we must learn to transmute fear into courage, scarcity into abundance, and shadow into strength. This integration does not happen overnight. It requires vigilance, reflection, and courage. It calls us to face the aspects of ourselves we dread most, and to recognize, this too is part of me. That is the first step toward authentic freedom. Jung taught that an individual only becomes whole once they accept their shadow. Until then, they remain fragmented, projecting onto others what they refuse to see in themselves. Hermetic wisdom confirms this. As within, so without. If division reigns within, conflict will appear without. If unity is found within, harmony manifests outside. Think about how often you tried to escape feelings like anger, jealousy, or fear. They never disappeared. They merely hid, waiting to strike at critical moments. But once you face them directly, they lose their grip over you. This is the alchemy of the inner world, not to fight against yourself, but to unify yourself. In this way, instead of wasting energy in inner battles, you redirect it toward building. The shadow ceases to be an enemy and becomes an ally. But how can we take this step in practice? How do we transform fear into strength without being consumed by it? This is where the secret of vibrations comes into play. Many believe it is enough to think positive, but thoughts are fragile compared to the force of feelings. We produce thousands of thoughts every day, and trying to control them is like trying to hold the wind in your hands. Modern science confirms what the Hermetic masters already knew. The heart governs reality. Its electromagnetic field is 60 times stronger than that of the brain. It is not merely what we think, but what we feel that shapes our experience. The Kybalion states, "Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates." Each emotion is a vibration, and each vibration attracts experiences in resonance with it. Fear attracts fear. Abundance attracts abundance. This is not opinion, it is law. Think of someone who repeats affirmations of prosperity while, deep inside, they still feel fear and scarcity. That person cannot generate abundance because their true vibration is not in the words, but in the heart. The universe responds to vibration, not to the mask we wear. Jung would explain this conflict as proof that the unconscious speaks louder than the conscious. It is useless to declare, "I am confident," if your shadow still holds insecurity. The work is not only in words, but in aligning emotion with awareness. This is the key: to direct your feelings. To choose to vibrate gratitude even in scarcity, trust even in fear, faith even in doubt. This choice is not denial, it is transmutation. It is the conscious decision of which frequency will prevail. But then comes the question: how can we cultivate elevated feelings in the middle of daily struggles? The answer lies in small, consistent practices that radically shift our vibration. Vibration does not shift only through thoughts. It changes through concrete experiences that touch the soul. Being close to loved ones, for instance, awakens genuine joy. Their presence reminds us that we are never truly alone. Spending time in elevated environments, whether temples, churches, or simply nature, connects our vibration to a higher order. It is impossible to walk through a forest and not feel that something greater surrounds you. The same is true of listening to music that uplifts the spirit, opening emotional portals of joy and faith. Animals and children also carry a purity of vibration that is contagious. In their presence, we are reminded of a primordial state of trust and simplicity. These moments not only comfort us, they recalibrate our frequency. Hermeticism teaches that energy follows attention. Wherever we place our focus, there our vibration will dwell. For this reason, surrounding ourselves with uplifting experiences is not a luxury, but a spiritual discipline. It is the practical way of staying aligned with abundance. Jung affirmed that faith is one of the most transformative psychic states. When we feel faith, even without external proof, we awaken dormant inner forces. Faith is not blind belief. It is a vibration that shapes the future. These practices are not superficial. They are techniques of emotional alchemy. They transmute the heaviness of fear into the lightness of trust. What once seemed impossible becomes accessible because the vibration has changed. Yet there is still an obstacle: toxic environments and negative people. If we do not learn to protect ourselves, a single malicious word can be enough to drag our vibration down. Think of how many times you were feeling well, and a single word was enough to shake your entire state of mind. This happens because we were never trained to shield our emotional field. And without protection, every achievement remains fragile. Shielding does not mean isolating yourself. It means cultivating awareness so that external energy does not dictate your inner state. It is like forming an invisible membrane. You perceive what happens around you, but you choose not to absorb it. This is the secret of victory. Directing feelings, not thoughts. Because feelings always hold greater power. When the heart vibrates with abundance, the universe responds. When it vibrates with fear, the universe mirrors that fear back. Hermeticism names this the law of correspondence. As within, so without. If victory resides within, it will manifest without. If defeat is nurtured inside, only defeat will reflect outside. Jung would add that illumination does not come from imagining light, but from making the darkness conscious. And the Kybalion declares, "He who understands the principle of vibration has grasped the scepter of power." Bringing these truths together is the key to transforming your life. So if you feel that you are in the midst of struggle right now, remember, you are one step away from victory. The adversary only shows up when something great is about to be born. Discomfort is not the sign of failure, it is proof that you already stand at the threshold of transformation. The only question that remains is, will you retreat before the portal, or will you walk through it? For victory is not a distant promise, it is a vibrational state you can choose here and now. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine there is within you a consciousness far greater than your fears and doubts. This is the higher self, called by the Hermeticists, the divine within man. Jung recognized it as the self, the organizing center of the psyche. It is not far away in some distant heaven. It dwells within you, waiting to be revealed in silence. Take a deep breath and bring your awareness to your heart. Feel the air entering and leaving, as if each inhalation were a spark of light, and each exhalation the release of old burdens. The heart is the bridge between the lower mind and the higher self. Each conscious breath activates this invisible bridge. Now, visualize above your head a golden sphere, pulsing like the sunday. This sphere symbolizes the higher self, the divine essence that sees beyond the illusions of matter. With every breath, imagine this light descending slowly into the center of your chest, filling it with warmth and confidence. As this light expands, notice your fears, doubts, and limiting thoughts as shadows surrounding you. Do not fight them, just observe. Recognize that they are creations of the lower mind, trying to protect you from the unknown. Say inwardly, "I see you, but I choose to move forward." Repeat silently a decree of power, inspired by alchemy and Hermeticism. "I am the presence of the all within me. I am the light that dissolves every shadow. I am the force that passes through every obstacle." Allow each word to vibrate in your heart, not only as thought, but as real feeling. Now, envision yourself walking through a luminous portal. On one side remains the lower mind with its fears. On the other side unfolds the boundless space of the higher self. As you cross, feel that you are not just a body or a fragmented mind. You are part of the all, and the all can never be defeated. As you open your eyes, notice how your vibration has shifted. This practice is not an escape from reality, but a reconnection with your essence. Whenever the shadow arises, you can return to this exercise, for it reminds you of what Hermeticism has always taught. Man is more than his lower mind. He is the living reflection of the All, capable of creating, transmuting, and overcoming. If this message spoke to your heart, it means you are ready to take the next step. And just as in Hermeticism, where everything is an exchange of energy, your interaction here is part of the flow. When you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with others, you are not just clicking buttons. You are teaching the algorithm itself to bring you more content that expands consciousness. In the pinned comment, you will find the ebook, The Key to Prosperity. In it, I reveal how to apply the Hermetic laws in daily life to transform not only your mind, but also your financial reality. It is a practical guide to transmute limiting beliefs and vibrate in abundance. Every action you take here is a reflection of the law of mentalism. Liking, subscribing, sharing, downloading the ebooks, all of it is the conscious choice to vibrate with wisdom and prosperity. The more you commit to this path, the more it unfolds before you. The universe does not reward those who merely wish, it rewards those who act in alignment with their transformation. Today, you have taken another step. With each click, each reading, each reflection, you strengthen the connection with your higher self and the vibration of victory. And so we bring this encounter to a close. But remember, this is not a farewell, only the beginning of a new cycle. For Hermetic wisdom is infinite, and with every video we dive deeper into its mysteries. Until our next initiatory meeting on the path of Hermetic wisdom.